This is William Tincup, and you are listening to the Recruiting Daily podcast. Today we have Gal on from Talenya, which was recently acquired by Paycor, and we're going to be talking all about AI and sourcing, kind of that intersection of those two things, and who better than to talk with than an expert in the subject. So, Gal, would you do us a favor, the audience a favor, and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Talenya?
Yes, thank you for having me, William.
Sure.
We've spoken in the past. Every time it's a new excitement for me, so appreciate it.
Vice versa.
And I'm a serial entrepreneur who spent the last 25 years in the recruitment technology industry. Prior to starting Talenya, I started the PandaLogic, which was acquired in 2021. And About 5.5 years ago, I started Talenya. PandaLogic was in the business of recruitment advertising, programmatic. We invented that market. And while I was with PandaLogic, it really bothered me that the whole market out there of passive job seeker, people who don't go to job sites to look for a job, and they've been handled in I would say, primitive methods like keywords on LinkedIn and this and that. And I felt that that business, which is addressed by hundreds and thousands of recruiters, needs a better treatment in terms of technology. So I started Talenya. We worked independently for a couple of years. And last October, we were acquired by Paycor, which is a public company in the human capital management market. And since then, we've been working on integrating our product into their talent acquisition suite of tools. And here we are.
Well, lots to unpack. Let's do, first of all, I love PandaLogic for what it was doing and what it did. Great acquisition as well. And I also love this marriage of Talenya and Paycor because as we were talking pre-show, Newton Software, they acquired a wonderful ATS a couple of years ago. And I know you're integrated with that as well. I just think Paycor is really progressive in kind of both what they build and also what they acquire and whom they partner with. So it's just a really great company, and they do great with partnerships and then also with acquisitions. So let's start with kind of the basics with their solution and where they saw kind of the need to have Talenya in their recruiting solution.
Okay, great. So I think that having an ATS without a sourcing capability, it's like having a sales automation tool without the marketing leads.
Right.
Okay, it's nice to have, it automates, it makes everything more efficient, but if you don't have anything to fit into that, it's worthless.
Right.
So everyone who uses ATS knows that they need to go and get candidates into the ATS. It's relatively easy to get active job seekers. Indeed, the ZipRecruiter will scrape your ads straight from the ATS and post them and get them back into you to apply to a job. But 85% of the talent pool is not actively looking for a job and needs to be reached out. And it goes back to poor recruiters who sit by computers, enter keywords, sift through listings, contact them. And that seems silly to me, with all due respect to people who are spending their lifetime, doing that. And we wanted to develop something that would integrate with an ATS and do it automatically. So imagine you're in the ATS, clicking on a button, go source for me, and AI will go out, find candidates for you, prioritize them, engage with them, and bring them back into the ATS. They're all passive job seekers who are not looking for a job. So all of the existing tools out there in the market, LinkedIn, Seek Out, Hire Easy, require you to do manual work, and therefore they cannot automate the process. But we have spent an enormous amount of effort and money on developing something that would do it automatically. And that's what we're doing with Paycor. So if you buy Paycor ATS product, or you already have that, every job that goes on your ATS would automatically pass on to Talenya, and we will reach out to the candidates and bring them back into the ATS. So you can have passive job seekers already waiting for you for an interview in your ATS. And the process is really simple. I can talk about it because it is the essence of AI and sourcing.
Yeah, let's unpack that, because I think folks that are listening are going to wonder, okay, is this, once we put a job together, let's put a job ad, job description together, is it going out to the entire internet and then looking at different databases and different ways to look for candidates? Is it looking at candidates specifically in our own ATS and kind of re-engaging with people that might have applied before, etc.? So what take us into the process so that they
Right.
understand.
Oh, yeah. A job is posted on the ATS.
Hmm.
Okay. We take the job description and we read it. When I say we, it's AI,
Right.
understand it, and creates a very granular search, which would have taken you hours and hours to do using keywords, Boolean strings, and this and that.
Right.
Okay. We know what's the job title. We know every possible synonym to that job title. We know what's important, what must have, what's nice to have. This is all AI
Right. Right.
knowing from reading your job description. But there are about 30% of the requirements that are not listed on the job description are in the head of the recruiter, the head of the hiring manager. And if you just use that, you're going to go out and get candidates who may not be qualified for the job.
Right.
So we've developed a process under which, as soon as a job is posted with the job description on the ATS, we ask the recruiter to rate 7 profiles. And when I say rate, it's thumbs up and thumbs down, with one reason why you thumbs up or thumbs down that profile.
And so then it gets
And
smarter.
it gets smarter.
Mm.
We also know what candidate have been submitted and who got advanced in the hiring funnel, so we can learn. It's machine learning, learning about your specific preferences and priorities
Right.
and about your company. So when you finish your 7 profile rating, you have an option. You can continue and select candidates one by one, like you would
Right.
on LinkedIn, except no keyword at all. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Or you can say, okay, I got the idea. Go and fetch candidates for me, and we'll take and curate that list based on your feedback and the job description, prioritize them on quality and on propensity to change jobs. So we can reach the candidate, the right candidate at the right timing. And then we reach out to them, primarily via email, but also via LinkedIn, and show them the job description and invite them to apply. But we don't reach 20 or 30 candidates like they would have reached if they did it manually. We
Right.
reach 200, 300 qualified candidates.
Right.
It's a massive reach out.
Right.
And then they say, I'm interested. We push them back into the ATS.
But it's what I love about that is, yes, it's going to be whatever the number is, but it's curated in a sense of it isn't just a thumbs up, thumbs down, which I like that you're asking them why. So it could be a thumbs up, and again, that's great. If it's a thumbs down, it's actually learning, because you and I, we could be in separate companies hiring the exact same position. We're hiring, let's say, a Java developer, but I am looking at that Java developer differently than you are. And so for that personalized, it's a sourcing at scale, in the sense of understanding my preferences around that Java developer, and your preferences around their hiring manager's preferences around that Java developer. So I love the thumbs up, thumbs down, and why, the kind of contextualizing why they like that, and obviously it's a learning. The more it learns, the better it gets, sharper it gets for the hiring managers and the recruiters. So one question I have is, when they look at a profile, are they looking at a unique profile that you've built for them? Are they looking at a LinkedIn profile? Like what profile are they looking at?
Yeah, great question. So it's a profile we build
Hmm.
from multiple sources. So
Right,
LinkedIn profile may be there,
right,
but if they have a profile on GitHub or Stack Overflow
right,
or Indeed, we would take that, digital footprint from different places and put it in. And the nice thing, William, is that our search is thinking like a recruiter.
right,
So it's not,
right,
put a keyword, delete the keyword, add, a string. We know what recruiters look at, and they look at specific things within the profile, and they only spend 5 to 10 seconds. Okay. And they typically value the job title more than they value, let's say, the education. And
right,
there's some skill that they like more. If they see the skill within the text of the candidate self description, they value it more than it would value if it had it on the skill in LinkedIn.
right,
So the most effort has been invested in creating AI that thinks like a recruiter, and that's reflected in how we create that prioritized list of candidates that we go after. And the nice thing about the ATS integration, that you get the candidates and you reject them or accept them or move them, and they ended up getting
right.
hired. We know which candidate you like, and we close the circle. So next time we don't have to ask you all these questions.
That's right.
If you come up with the same job, we know who you like, and then we refine the search, and it gets smarter every time.
What's great about that is it's not only just getting smarter, it's getting faster.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
getting the idea of, again, if it's a Java developer and you're fulfilling, you're hiring another 10 of those, it's getting smarter. That each time you hire one, it's getting smarter. And I guess it serves it up and says, what I love about this is it's taking some of the low value task away from recruiters and then saying, hey, listen, if you're carrying 40 recs, you can't do all of this stuff. You should, first of all, let's question whether or not you should carry 40 recs. Put that aside. Okay, but let's say you're carrying 40 recs, you can't do all this stuff, nor should you. I know the audience will have a question around the messaging. So once we found the let's say 200 that are really a great fit for this specific job, you said you can go out through email or LinkedIn. Is that something that the recruiter picks, or do you have some probability or analysis there that says this is going to be a better way to kind of reach these candidates, etc.?
It's all AI.
Yeah,
So think
yeah,
think about the ChatGPT built into a recruitment software. Okay, say uh, create a message for a Java developer, refer to his previous experience, to his current job title,
right,
everything that recruiters would now spend hours personalizing the message.
right,
It's all done automatically, and people look at it, they don't know AI created it,
right. No,
and it's so personalized that the response rate is much higher. And it's not one message. If you don't respond, we follow up with a second message and a third message.
right,
We know who clicked. You have an option to say, I'm not interested, and we don't continue with the thread. So it is something that, and the scale, how many messages can you craft, for a job, and how much time do you need to spend writing it and following up and
right.
LinkedIn and this and that. So within hours of posting a job, you get people interested in interviewing with you.
Right. Dumb question alert. Gail, because it personalizes to their profile, which is obviously, but does it also personalize to the job description itself? Like, hey, this is exactly what they're looking for. You have 12 years of that experience. Like, the words
Exactly,
might not be
exactly.
correct.
Both of the job description. They say we're looking for someone with 3 years in Python development,
Yep.
based on what I see on your profile. And imagine all of that turning into video in the future.
Right.
So someone will talk to you and tell you why you need to speak with the company, and that would look
I was
completely natural to
I was
you.
thinking about conversational bots and conversational AI in that way of either using it if somebody wants to chat right then. So we send them a message, but they want to chat. Obviously, we wouldn't have a recruiter do that. You could do that through conversational AI. You're You're probably
Yes,
already thinking that thought and moving in that direction.
definitely. But I think, conversational bots are a step behind
Oh
because
yeah,
they need to be programmed with the answers. While if you have AI, it
right.
could be completely free dialogue.
I love that. So just a quick question around Talenya and Paycor. Can folks can they work with Talenya if they're not a Paycor customer, or do you?
Yes. So the Paycor kept our independent operation selling to companies who are not on the Paycor platform, and
Okay,
that's absolutely fine. We're integrated with almost every possible ATS.
right.
And in fact, you cannot work with us unless you connect with the ATS
Yeah,
because the
right.
experience is completely different.
Well, you want that closed loop and you want that learning to happen too, right? So it wouldn't
Yeah,
make
we
sense
don't
for you
want
just to
to.
dump candidates into a thing and then not have insight into
Yeah,
it.
not only that, but for example, if you are already speaking with someone, we don't want to connect with them. So
Right,
we need to dedupe them from our list and things like that.
right, right. So why? I mean, first of all, I love this. You know, I love the solution. We did a podcast 100 years ago, so you know I love Talenya.
Yeah.
Why do people say no? Like, what's the I say the opposition, but what's the when people say no to you? What? Why? What reasons do they give?
I,
I'm
I,
curious.
I ask I
I'm
ask
curious.
myself the same question. If you can save 80% of your time
Yeah.
and you can get candidates that traditional tools will miss, why wouldn't you want to have it? I'll tell you, and I learn new things every day. I'll tell you what I learned.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, people like LinkedIn, and
Far more than they admit. Far
yes,
more than they admit. Because
far more.
if you look on social, everyone hates LinkedIn. Everyone, every recruiter you talk to, I hate LinkedIn. They hate how much it costs. They hate.
It's a
And
monopoly, but in fact, LinkedIn is a pretty good product.
yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's primarily a social network. So they love the
Right.
social network aspect, which doesn't come if you buy a sick out or how easy. Okay. You have to have LinkedIn to connect with people. Now, imagine that you build your career on perfecting Boolean search and keywords and connecting and crafting messages. People are scared. They, think about what will happen to everyone when things like DAL-E or ChatGPT would come and threaten complete industries.
Right.
But unless they embrace it, okay, they will be thrown to the sideline. That's
Right.
one reason that we're seeing. The other thing is that oftentimes, until they really try using us for a couple of months,
Right.
they don't realize the benefits in
Right.
full.
Right.
So we typically do a trial. We let you post a couple of jobs so you can see the benefit.
Right.
And obviously, they give us the hardest to fill job, thinking
Oh
that
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Purple
know
squirrel, purple forest. Yeah.
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 But in reality, we're not as smart as people. I have
Right.
to admit.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So if you select each and every candidate manually, the quality of your candidates will be perfect. Okay.
Right.
You're not going to take a chance with someone who's missing something on their profile because you don't want to waste your time, right?
That's right.
And you're limited by the number of candidates that match exactly what you want. We do something different. We say broaden the scope. You never know what people are missing and not missing, and we're going to reach out and contact 200-300 candidates. Some of them may be qualified, and some of them may not be qualified because AI selected them, and they
That's right.
selected them based on the size of the talent pool,
Right.
whatever it is. Okay, so they need to embrace the idea that there's a tool here, which is not a tool, a platform that would get them, let's say, 60% qualified and 40% non-qualified. And over time, we would learn and improve those percentages. But that's a completely new notion
Right.
for them to understand. It's not a job board where everyone, 99% would be disqualified, but you cannot stop people from applying. It's not you
Right.
searching on LinkedIn. It's something in between. It takes time for people to embrace that.
Well, I think it's, like the Amazon experience. if you log into Amazon, like in incognito mode, and you don't log into your account, it doesn't know you. So it doesn't know what to serve up to you, right? But if you
Right.
log into your Prime account, an account that you've used for years and years and years, it knows you better than you know yourself. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So
Absolutely. But
it serves up the things. That's why people, it fascinates me, because I do a lot of stuff on like Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And like people are like, they're upset that the ads that are served up, it's like they're looking at Google, they're looking at this, and they're listening in on Alexa, they're doing all this. I'm like, I actually like that, because the because the ads that they serve, which they have to serve up to make their their models work, their ads are actually right on point. Like for me, like they serve up artists, they serve up things that I like. I'm like, I like that they know all this stuff. I don't care.
imagine you would use a tool and it would turn out that what you do now for your living
Right.
is done, somewhat better by AI.
Oh, I
Okay, that is something that will take a mindset
yeah.
shift for them to embrace it and use it properly.
I think so. I think the more they use it, the more they'll understand how it actually helps them do their job. Like there's always going to be a human component to this, to hiring, because it's a very human thing to do. However, there's a bunch of stuff that we've been doing through the years that we just don't need to do. There's a better way to do that. Um, last thing I want to kind of cover with you is kind of, I know you get this question. I know you've gotten this question for years around adverse impact, and probably along the lines of ethical AI and auditing AI, et cetera. So what's your kind of your take on just kind of how with machine learning, the technology will get smarter and more appropriate to that particular company and that job, et cetera. But how do you go back and look at your AI, either independently, or do you have your team look at it to make sure that there's nothing happening in it, with its recommendations, et cetera, that you just don't like? Like how do you kind of keep your finger on the pulse of that?
The question that we ask ourselves continuously. First of all, we have a component that will boost diversity
Right.
in
Okay.
your pipeline. So we are working on the opposite
Right.
way to
Right.
give diverse talent a fair chance to be considered, because right now they don't, especially if you have to look at pictures and determine who is who. So we don't show you pictures. When you do your thumbs up and thumbs down, we don't
Right.
show a picture, we don't show your names. So on the diversity side, I think we're probably the best solution out there in the market to and we have clients who use it only for diversity hiring.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Then none of the information that we're using is is personal information. So we don't use any of that. So there's no way for the AI, and we don't use, in Europe, for example, we don't show the clients any personal
Right.
information unless the
GDPR.
candidate has consented
Right.
to speak with the company. So we use the academia and research to continuously look at the algorithm to see whether the algorithm is doing something that is inappropriate. But the biggest challenge for AI is that it would copy
Right.
a
Right.
bias or
That's right.
behavior of humans
Which
that
keeps us
is
all up at night. Yeah.
unethical.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're just giving people an opportunity to take another job, and I think it's a good thing to have. And whatever technology can be used for that, I think we are, doing a better job than human in that respect, where we don't look at any personal gender, ethnicity, or anything like that to choose the candidates, and it's completely independent of any of that.
Yeah, it's skills and experience and potentiality, and things like that, because you're looking at tangential skills and some of the synonyms that aren't in the job description. I lied. I do actually want to ask you one more question, and it's, we're driving folks to apply. Do you see Talenya in the future going further past apply, like into scheduling or anything like that? Like once we've got them applied, can we do something in the future after they apply?
Yeah, Pico already has that scheduling, so we
Okay,
don't need
okay,
to
great.
do.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, 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 good.
But there could be a lot of things that we can do once we're embedded in the ATS, and we will announce. But the idea is really to introduce AI to a market that has been, not so developed with technology like AIs, and a company that will not do that will not be able to succeed. So
Right.
the acquisition of Pego of Talenya is the first step in getting AI into anything that Pego will be doing in the future.
I lied again. I have one more question. I won't. This will be the last one. I promise.
No problem. I
Uh,
can spend more time.
so, have your customers already asked you about internal mobility in terms of this is Gal, this is wonderful. It helps us with everything on the front end of getting new people into the system. Uh, we have kind of a quandary around people already. Siemens has what 120,000 employees. They've got open recs as well. I could see a business case for turning this inward as well and using it that way. But have your customers asked you about that, or do you see a
They
future?
have, they have, and we're already thinking about that capability. I'll tell you what we have.
Okay,
Okay. Uh, we have algorithm that can predict the next career path of a person. It's also AI.
right,
So if you have a person, if there's an opening and that person is doing exactly the same thing, that it's a no-brainer, okay? But if that person is one job behind that opening, the hiring manager may not know, the recruiter may not know, but we know.
right,
So we can say before you go out and consider someone exactly from the same type of job, more money and this and that, give an opportunity to someone from the inside to do it. It's a very, very natural extension of what we
right.
do, and we're building it into the product together with Paycor.
Well, I can't wait. First of all, come back on because I want to hear all about that once you're close to launch. Thank you for carving out time, Gal. Every time we talk, I get smarter. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
All right, always a pleasure, William.
All right, thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Take care.